Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Movie Mortis, where Movie Madness lives. I'm Nick.
And I'm Drew.
And today we're going to be talking about the 1998 superhero action movie Blade, the first one, starring Wesley Snipes as the superhero that the movie is named after, rather than the anti-hero according to the Wikipedia page. This is about a half mortal, half vampire who hunts down and kills vampires. And the vampires live amongst us. It's a cool movie. It's a super cool movie.
It is a super cool movie. It's a really interesting movie given that this is one of the earlier successful Marvel movies,
Mm-hmm.
which is very interesting given how ubiquitous Marvel is these days, but it's
Oh yeah.
interesting to see how back in the day how Marvel was a lot of the Marvel movies back in the day, the ones that got made at least, were very like self-contained, and
Yeah.
also were also, at least this movie was darker than most comic book movies of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even compared to today, it's quite dark, even compared to like a lot of like the MCU stuff you see today. And also it has vampires in it, which is always cool.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now I never read the Blade comic books, so I will be judging this movie as its own thing. Drew, have you read any of the Blade comic books?
I have read zero of the Blade comic books.
All right, so we're all newbies. Um, although although it's funny because I have more curiosity. I said I look up the Marvel movies made before Blade, and there was the Fantastic Four from 1994. There was a low budget Captain America, a Punisher movie, and Howard the Duck. Yay!
What a incredible resume that is.
And not to get off topic, I wonder, wasn't there a? I think there was a Nick Fury movie where they had David Hasselhoff play.
Yeah, there was.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know
it
if it
was. It
was
was
the
made for TV. It was made for TV.
Yeah, it
So,
was made for TV, yeah.
anyways, back to the subject: the first successful Marvel movie, Blade. So I want to say this movie is full of Y2K aesthetics. Like, there's just something
Hmm.
about movies from that era you can tell is like, oh yeah, this was made in the late '90s. Like, again, Blade has that like Y2K feeling, mise en scene, if you will. Look at me, I'm smart. Anyways, like you got like a techno soundtrack, especially during the beginning at the rave club, and even the way like the certain background characters dress, it just feels very Y2K, and
Well, yeah, even like the color grading effects look very Y2K, look very like of the time, because
mhm,
it's like a lot of it feels very like almost industrial in a way, with the way the colors are sharply contrast with each other.
mhm,
It's like it feels like they I would imagine that this is still when films were edited on film, I would assume, because I
mhm,
know digital technology was still kind of like becoming a thing at the time.
mhm.
So I wonder, it's like, damn, did they just go in and turn the contrast up all the way? I mean,
Probably.
no, nowadays with you can just go into Adobe Premiere and just there's a little contrast slider in the color settings, but
Hmm.
you can just turn it up, turn it down, or do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
It seems like they did something similar to that with the contrast, but it really works. It adds like a stylized look to the film,
Hmm.
and it also adds, I think, to this movie's like kind of like gothic techno sort of
Yeah.
atmosphere.
And
And it get
this is before like, emo music of the 2000s took off as well. So, granted, I think there's an argument to be made that like goth culture kind of took off in the 2000s. So in a way, no, I'm for sure it was always a thing, but it didn't hit like mainstream with stuff like MCR and the rise of Hot Topic till then. So it feels like, in terms of movies, this movie is like a precursor to like, you know, edgy new metal Y2K like emo stuff. When you bring that up, of course, man. That or I'm just looking too deep into a puddle.
Well, yeah, I kind of had a. I don't think it was as like big in and like the goth community as something like The Crow was,
Oh yeah,
but I think it still was pretty big in the alternative culture sort
oh
of
yeah.
scene. So
I mean, I know it's just part of the comic book, but freaking main character's got the black sunglasses and the blonde black trench coat. he's all black, and obviously Wesley Snipes, unless I'm colorblind, is black. but you know,
That actually, keep that in mind because I do want to come back to that actually at some point.
what, Wesley Snipes being black?
Well, because I want to honestly, because I think this might have been one of the first instances of a black superhero in a mainstream movie.
It kind of was, unless hang on, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy here, but yeah, it was, and there was also, where is it?
I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure.
I mean, to be fair, if you really
was.
want to get technical, there was a Steel starring Shaquille O'Neal.
I've literally never heard of that.
It is a lot of people hate the movie, but it's I never saw it. I only saw a little bit of it on TV, and it looks very campy as hell. But that being said, though, Blade was Blade, I think, definitely felt like the very successful. First of all, I'm white, so I probably got no say. I don't really have a big stake in this, but it definitely felt like a really was a successful, you know, main black lead superhero movie. And it's funny because, like, I feel like a lot of people, regardless of race, religion, creed, or whatever, they could probably fall in love with Blade. Hell, I freaking liked Blade for, you know, his dealing with the vampires, and just I love demon hunters. I love demon hunters. And yes,
he's also.
And yes,
He's
viewers,
also...
I did see K-pop Demon Hunters as well, okay? But we're talking about Blade here. But Blade's fucking cool. Demon Hunters are cool.
And also, too, Blade himself is a very, like, stoic sort of hero, sort of personality. Like, he doesn't seem to get overly emotional when things happen. Like, he shows his emotion later on in the movie when Wesley dies, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I feel like the lighting really does sell his emotions though. Like, you can see where his eyes are kind of dark and a lot more, like, you know, shaded. Big shout out to the lighting, by the way. Big shout out on the lighting of that scene. I love the lighting on the scene where, like, Whistler dies. Because, you know, even though Blade's trying to keep his composure, you could tell by the lighting he's miserable.
Yeah,
setting the mood, baby.
Exactly. That's what the whole point of lighting is, and that's kind of what I was getting at earlier. What we were getting at earlier with how the look of the film really adds to the intended emotion, and I think that's one of those scenes where the way the shaders work and the way the contrast is, it invokes that emotion of sorrow in that particular scene.
Oh yeah. Another thing too, like, there are times where Wesley Snipes, which first of all, I completely forgot. I feel like such a fake fan because I haven't seen a lot of Wesley Snipes movies. I've only seen this and Demolition Man, which I'd love to talk about Demolition Man one day. I love his voice when he speaks as Blade because he kind of, you know, he's that stoic badass, and he kind of reminds me of this one character from Bayonetta. I can't remember his name because I only played the first Bayonetta game and could not get into it, sadly, which, yeah, video game hot take alert, I couldn't get into Bayonetta. Which it kind of reminded me of that. It made me wonder if that character, if Blade himself inspired, Wesley Snipes' performance inspired said character. I mean, because, I mean, a lot of people from out here love both the entire Blade trilogy. That's what I hear, at least.
Yeah, I've only seen the first movie. I do have the whole Blade trilogy here on Blu-ray. I got this at Rasputin's Music, a local old school video store here in the Bay Area. Obligatory fuck Sony and fuck PlayStation.
Fuck Sony.
Yes, we're gonna keep beating that horse every single time that I show off a physical movie that I have that we're talking about here on the Movie Borders podcast. Fuck Sony, fuck PlayStation. Physical media forever, motherfuckers.
Physical media forever. This is not. I don't own this copy. This is my library's copy. I mean, shout out to libraries as well, because they also support. They have to be supportive of physical media, man. I mean, without physical media, libraries would not exist.
Exactly, and we're also glad that we got companies like local video stores, like Rasputin Music, like big chains like Barnes and Noble, who still carry physical media.
And
support physical media, everybody.
Also, this is gonna sound crazy, but Walmart has a bigger physical media section than Target. I don't know what the deal with that is.
Neither do I, but I haven't gone into a regular Walmart in a long time. I should probably change that.
Well, with all due respect, the Walmart in your area, the closest one, it's like I don't want to dox you or anything, but it's like the one city south of where you live. Freaking that Walmart in there is dirty. No offense. The Texas Walmarts are slightly cleaner.
slightly cleaner.
Yeah. And believe me, I'm not trying to brag by saying, "Oh, we have cleaner Walmarts," but the Walmart I went to last time in where you live was pretty freaking dirty. Like it's just so damp in there. I don't know what it is. Could be
Anyways.
vampires. We gotta call Blade, but we can't call him until we finish talking about Blade. Anyways, okay, Blade. So, yeah, we're talking Blade as a character again. Drew and I, we've never read the Blade comic books, so this is kind of our only exposure to Blade. He might have been in a show. It might have been one of the many Marvel shows. I mean, I don't know if he was ever in Avengers Mightiest Heroes. I know he was in Spider-Man the Animated Series, which unfortunately is infamous for its censorship. Like, Blade has this iconic, blades and serums and guns and sword, right? Especially his sword. Guess what they turned his sword in Spider-Man the Animated Series to?
Oh boy,
a lightsaber.
What? A lightsaber? What is this? Star Wars? We're talking about this is Blade here.
Well, to be fair, the Punisher also got pretty bad too, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, Blade. It's literally in his name, Blade, the freaking sword. Which the sword is very interesting because it's like not only is it Blade's signature sword, but it has like an emergency "Do not steal my sword or your hand gets demolished." You know.
Yeah, which I like that. I thought that was cool. It was.
Oh yeah.
Because that's his signature weapon, really, is that big fucking sword. So what did you think of Deacon Frost, the villain in this movie?
Ooh, Deacon. Deacon he kind of felt like a combination of the lead singer of a 2000s nu metal band and a playboy. Like he's rich and powerful, but he reminds me of an upstart businessman, especially since he gets involved in the Vampire Council. But his attitude and everything just kind of reeks of just like, you're like, yo, you don't want to fucking mess with me, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he seems like one of those like overly ambitious sort of like. It almost seems like he's punching above his weight a little bit, almost. Because like when you look at him, he's not like a physically intimidating guy. He kind of looks like a little bit of a nerd compared to everybody else. But even the other like full blood vampires. But I think his motivation is kind of interesting though, because like he wants to like take over and the human race and blah blah blah, which is kind of standard for a lot of like comic book movie villains.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how many times have we seen a superhero movie, especially an MCU movie, a Marvel movie, where the villain's trying to end the world or whatever? Which it's a bit of a played out trope now, but back then I think it kind of worked given the circumstances. And I like that they had this lore of like the blood god and and all that sort of stuff. So it made it a little more unique compared to a lot of what you see today, and even of the time, 1998 when this movie came out.
So going back to this film being the first successful Marvel movie, it really does make me think, because even beforehand, Superman and Batman were kind of dominating the box office because they were DC properties, but they were still well known, especially for all the Batman interpretations. But so it's very interesting that like Blade, who I apologize to all comic book fans. I mean, when it comes to comic books, I like read a lot of independent comic books. So, and by independent, I mean just not very. I mean, I'll explain later. I mean, anyways, but I don't know. I think Blade's kind of like. I mean, he's a lot more well known because of this movie, but I feel like back in the day, he might have been more of a. I want to say a C or B tier character.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very interesting because, like, and I'm going to compare this to nowadays because DC nowadays under James Gunn, they went from Superman to freaking Creature Commandos, Supergirl. A lot of people are saying, like, why isn't James Gunn doing the A-tier superheroes? Which I don't know if James Gunn was trying to replicate, what Blade was for Marvel, and he thought maybe, I don't know, Swamp Thing would be. I don't even know if he's going to do a Swamp Thing movie now, which I don't know. But yeah, that's all I really got to say is just like, it's actually interesting that like I feel like Blade's more well known now because of Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, and because of that, because like I don't know how many people like outside of like comic book nerds know the comic book version of Blade. Most people know Blade. If they do know Blade, it's for the before the movies Blade.
Oh yeah.
And I actually just found out that Blade, actually, the character of Blade, as Wesley Snipes as Blade, appeared in Deadpool and Wolverine
Oh, he
a couple
did.
years
Yeah,
ago.
he did. I saw that.
I didn't see that movie, so I don't know, but because I'm
I
kind
saw
of
I saw it with my dad and my brother, and he
yeah.
was in that along with yeah, he was in that. He was in that. So it was actually it was kind of cool, and quite frankly, they're trying to reboot it now, but I feel like it's a conversation for another day.
If they do reboot it and they have another like blood rave scene, which I would imagine they will, kind of like the one at the beginning of the first Blade, if they don't use the song "Blood Rave" by Motionless in White, they are doing it wrong.
We'll see, man. Because I mean, I hope they do. I mean, because I I can see. I don't know. Like, here's the thing. Like, for as a product of the time Blade was, I still think it can be enjoyed today. Granted, speaking of the datedness, the CGI is a little outdated. The CGI is outdated.
A little outdated. I think it's
I corrected
outdated,
myself and
but,
said just outdated.
but I think I even like I even thought to myself when I was watching this movie, it's like I kind of try not to hold that against the movie because that's kind of just of the time, you know, because
Oh
this
yeah,
is when CGI was still kind of like coming into its own, still
yeah.
kind
This
of.
is this
I don't
is
I don't
yeah,
want to say like in its infancy because it wasn't in its infancy, but it's like it's still when the technology was still developing.
yeah. This is
So
before George Lucas stepped in with I know a lot of people hate this movie, but Phantom Menace, you know, kind of revolutionized CGI.
it did, yeah.
Yeah. So this is
But yeah,
so this is
this was a year before the Phantom Menace, actually,
oh yeah,
1998. Phantom Menace came out in '99,
100%.
so
Yeah.
so like I said, I kind of try not to hold that against the movie,
Yeah.
and
I'm not
hell, if
holding it against
anything,
it either.
if anything, the dated CGI, honestly, like I try to think to myself, that might kind of add a bit more of like this era of sort of like unrealism to the movie, if that makes
Hmm.
sense. But I think I'm just kind of coping with that. But
I think it adds a little bit of charm to it. It adds a little bit of charm, and because it ages the movie, sure, but
yeah,
I can't defend the CGI. Who am I kidding? I actually do. When the film is being practical, though, I do admire the practicality
oh yeah,
of the film. Like you can see, like you know, the vampires dissolving, the freaking corpse of that one vampire burning, the really fat vampire Pearl being just sitting there. Oh, what about the freaking like when he injects the serum into those two vampires by the end, and even the final,
yeah.
even Deacon, like just
Mhm.
it become they become like amalgamations of like the Thing and the freaking blob monster from Akira. But I don't
Yeah.
think you know what I'm talking about. I know the viewers will probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think those effects are given the time that they were done.
Mhm.
Like I think those effects are pretty all right for
Oh yeah,
for
for a time they're pretty
1998.
cool. The fight scenes, specifically the beginning one and the one at the end, those were freaking cool as hell.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like
I
the
love
martial
the
arts and the
yeah.
music too. It's just like chef's kiss, man.
Yeah, the blood rave theme scene at the beginning I think is really cool because it's like
Mhm.
it's part of the whole gimmick of the actual blood raves of itself is that you have these
Yeah.
sprinklers that shoot down like fake blood and it makes everyone all bloody, and then but it's like you kind of realize when the editing cuts to shots of people showing their fangs, it's like oh shit those are real vampires, and then Blade shows up and then all hell breaks loose and it's super awesome.
Yeah, this party's over.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's yeah, it's such a cool movie too. Like it's, as the British would say, bloody fantastic. Pun absolutely
Literally.
intended. But yeah,
Especially at the beginning, it's like that's literally bloody fantastic.
yeah, that really does set the mood. Like again, this is like like real. I don't know, action horror. I feel like had action horror. Like this is definitely action horror right here because you know vampires and everything.
Yeah.
I do feel like there's a lot to explore with action horror because you know it's one thing to be scared and run away from the monsters, but it's another thing to fight these freaking monsters as well.
Yep.
Yeah, and another thing. What did you think about the girl character? I can't remember her name. Stephanie, was it?
Karen.
Karen. I don't know why I was saying Stephanie. Karen, I thought was all right. It just I didn't have too strong feelings for Karen. Quite frankly. I mean, she was just. I do like how Blade kind of kept her because reminded him of his mother, and she actually decided to provide Blade some help instead of just being a generic, love interest damsel. It's just like, hey, I made your serum, and I can find a cure.
Well, yeah, because she's a what did they
Doctor,
say her profession was? Like some sort of doctor.
like
So it's like
someone who
she,
specializes in corpses.
yeah. So it's like she has the scientific knowledge because she proves herself to be a reliable asset for Blade and Wessler's sort of dealings, because it's like she can provide serum that can cure Blade of his ails, but also it's like, as you see at the end, that serum can also kill vampires at the end, as you saw
Hmm.
at the end. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
so yeah, I
And
thought she played a role in this, right? And I never really got the feeling that they were romantically involved, but
mm,
she definitely provided
yeah.
a useful skill set for Blade and his operation.
Hmm. I thought they were emotionally involved because of like the blade sucking her blood.
I thought that was just him giving him taking her vampiric powers, if that made sense. Because
Yeah.
because she was bitten by a vampire at the beginning,
Hmm.
right?
She
So
was, yes.
she had the vampirism in her, and
Hmm.
so that's what Blade uses to sort of sustain himself, to revive himself, because he's basically on the verge of death in that
Oh yeah.
particular scene.
Yeah. It's
So
probably because like her faces and like her going oh or whatever like kind of kind of threw me off if that makes sense. What the heck?
yeah, well,
Hang on. Did
to
that?
be
Sorry. Hang on. Okay. Good. I thought my mic wasn't capturing. I got scared for a second. Continue.
go so in a lot of like other like adaptations of vampires, they're often there's a lot of erotic takes on vampires.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I wonder if that was maybe an influence on that particular scene. I mean,
Probably.
this is a completely different movie, but if any of you saw the recent Robert Eggers Nosferatu, which is a vampire movie, not in any way the same kind of vampire movie, but
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of like erotic undertones in that movie, and
Mm.
that's not uncommon for vampire adaptations, for any sort of like depictions of vampires. So I kind of felt that it was kind of important to kind of bring that up, because I think that was a bit of an influence on that scene. But kind of like I said before, I don't think Blade and Karen were romantically involved in any way.
That's fair.
But that's just me.
What did you think about Whistler?
I liked him, especially kind of as the movie went on, because he kind of added a bit of a human touch to the movie,
I
given
agree.
his motivations and how he relates to Blade, given his own personal struggles with vampires, and it makes it even more tragic that he's dealing with cancer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But I Whistler was awesome. He was like a uncle figure who was, yeah, he dealt with some rough shit, but he's gonna be there for Blade because Blade and him share a similar goal.
exactly.
Yeah, so
And he's the one who builds Blade's weapons.
oh yeah,
Remember?
he again like a
So
blacksmith, so that's super cool. But I definitely did. It was sad to see him go. It's just like no, he was kind of cool. What the
yeah,
heck? By the way,
yeah.
does Chris Christopherson sound familiar? I feel like I should know him from somewhere, but I don't.
Do you know what's funny? I actually was doing a little bit of research on this movie, but
Mhm.
a lot of people misremember Chris Christopherson as Whistler. A lot of people, for some reason, think it was Jeff Bridges,
Yeah, I
and
was
there
thinking
it's,
that. I was thinking it was Jeff Bridges.
but it's not Jeff Bridges. Look, he kind of resembles Jeff Bridges, but it's not. It was Chris Christopherson. There were a handful of scenes where I was like, this guy looks like exactly like Jeff Bridges, but no,
Oh
it's
my
not Jeff
gosh.
Bridges. It's Chris Christopherson.
So apparently,
I
Chris
mean,
Christoph. Sorry, you first.
he does a great job. So,
Apparently, Chris Christopherson was in Heaven's Gate, which we talked about in our Production Hell
yeah.
episode. He was the main star of that, and he was also in the first Dolphin Tale movie. So that's interesting. Oh, and apparently he's a country singer where he was in the supergroup The Highwaymen, which also includes Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, and Willie Nelson. So nice,
That
he's got
is,
talent.
yeah.
Unfortunately, he passed away 2 years ago. So
Aw.
rest in peace, Mr. Christopherson. You were you were you sang some outlaw country and starred in a really cool trilogy of films, and you survived the absolute hell known as Heaven's Gate.
I was gonna say, I don't think. Oh yeah, because I'm looking at the back of my Blu-ray right now. It looks like Chris Christopherson is credited in Blade the second, in Blade 2, and in Blade Trinity. So
And he was
I'm
also
seeing
in
his
the
name in the credits.
he was also in the 1976 remake of A Star Is Born. So, dude had quite a lot. Dude had some backings to his name, and if he got to play alongside Johnny Cash, for crying out loud, which in my book is freaking cool.
But yeah, he's great in Blade.
He nailed Whistler.
Exactly. He absolutely fucking nailed Whistler.
Yeah. So, yeah. And
so what did you think of the costuming and set design of this movie?
I loved it. Jeez. Anyways, I loved it. Blade's costume mostly. I mean, I know it's kind of generic. I mean, I know it's very similar to like the Matrix movies or freaking The Punisher. But, you know, the fact that he actually has like vampire hunting gadgets is all the more cool. If anything, he feels like a more modern day version of Van Helsing, but instead of wearing a hat, he wears some cool ass shades, which I love the fact he gets a shade back by decapitating the vampire who stole it. That was freaking cool.
That was cool.
And
Anytime, because I think there was a shot right after that where he puts on his shades, and I'm just like, bad fucking ass, let's go.
This movie makes me want to watch more Wesley Snipes action movies, honestly. Like, I know he's in other films, but I've only ever seen Demolition Man.
Yeah, but yeah, Blade's costume is so cool. I mean, it's funny that you brought up The Matrix, because I think Blade came out a year before The Matrix, right?
Yeah.
Matrix was 1999.
Yeah, so 99 is when CGI kind of started picking up, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I'm sure The Matrix did more than just CGI, but still, you know, I'm curious now. The Matrix, 1999. Like,
so
the same year as episode. Yeah, freaking special effects are picking up around that time, man.
Yeah.
So that's
and let's be
cool.
let's be honest here.
Mm-hmm.
Sunglasses or shades make everyone look cooler.
100%, man. Yeah, it's like all the CSI. It's like, you know the meme where it's like a guy says like a pun and the CSI open and goes
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and then while the person puts on sunglasses. Because again, sunglasses just make everyone seem cooler, even if you're wearing them at night. Even if you're wearing your sunglasses at night. Yes, I am referencing the Corey Hart song.
Corey Hart.
Yeah, he did the song "Sunglasses at Night," right?
Oh, I think so. I don't know Corey Hart, or maybe I should. I feel like I do know him, but I just haven't heard any songs by name. But the set designs. I love the rave. I love the finale taking place at a temple where they're trying to summon the blood god. And I also like Blade's garage, because that's just like his arsenal of weapons and everything. And I also found Deacon's condo kind of cool. Condo kind of cool.
Yeah, it had a bit of like a gothic techno sort of aesthetic.
Oh,
I really liked the room where all like the head vampires, whatever you call them, had their business dealings. Like, that room was so cool. That room was so cool. It kind of looks like a mix between like a corporate boardroom and like Dracula's castle. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Like, that was so cool.
It's fun. I looked up a brief picture of Deacon from the Marvel comics, and apparently he looks a lot older compared to his movie self. I don't know if he comes back in the sequels, but we'll see.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the Blade sequels, so.
Well, my library only has the first and third one, so it's just like, what the heck, man?
Boo.
Don't boo my library. They're trying their best.
Well, then again, I don't hear too many great things about the Blade sequels, so.
I hear Blade 2 is kind of cool, actually. I mean, heck, yeah, I heard Blade 2 is pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't.
Also, Wesley Snipes' Blade was parodied in one of the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror openings, where after Homer became like a monster, freaking Carl put on the trench coat, sunglasses, pulled out a blade, and decapitated Lenny.
I I feel like I should, because like I'm a big Simpsons fan, so it's like I feel like I should recognize that. But
Yeah, they did a lot of Guillermo del Toro references in that. I mean, they said it was a tribute to Guillermo del Toro, but there was like horror all around, even a reference to Christine as well.
oh, is that one of the newer trios of horrors then? Because I think
It
of
is.
Yeah, I think of Guillermo del Toro as like a more recent filmmaker. So it's like, because
Yeah.
I haven't seen too many of the recent trios of horror episodes, admittedly.
And
So
the one with like the Death Note parody was super cool, along with the Westworld parody. So I think that's worth looking out.
all right, I'll have to
But
look out for
anyways,
it.
yeah. But anyways, back to Blade. Blade. I swear I could just record myself saying that in so many various voices. Blade. 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 I feel like I feel like from the first, I don't know if that's like a common phrase, but I feel like a lot of people, have you ever heard the phrase like some people just try like to ice skate uphill? Did that originate from Blade, or is that just a common colloquialism or whatever?
I have absolutely no clue. I'll be honest, I'm kind of running out of things to say about Blade, to be
Damn,
perfectly
yeah.
honest.
That's all I really got to say about Blade. Blade was super cool. It's a very nice movie. Would you consider it one to look? Would you consider like something to watch around Halloween, or would you rather stick to more traditional horror?
Me, I'd probably just stick to more traditional horror because, like, I don't think people kind of like sometimes look at this as like a horror movie, but it's more of an action movie. It only has like vague elements of horror, I think.
Oh yeah,
Um,
100%.
but yeah, it's what's up?
You, I want to ask you, Drew. I think you had a vampire phase at one point, so I must ask, what are your thoughts on the vampires in this movie?
Oh, they're great. I
Nice.
mean, they don't have the I like that they actually worked in the it's a common thing in the vampire myth that one of their weaknesses is garlic.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that they worked it into this movie, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Same. I like that. I like how they included like the traditional Monster Hunter stuff of silver bullets, essence of garlic. That shit's cool. But they also kind of downplays like, hey, crosses don't work, but sunlight still does. Like I loved when
Yeah.
like Deacon was like sacrificing that one elder vampire in the sun, where they just wore like black suits and motorcycle helmets. That was brutal yet very cool. And
Yeah.
I also liked how we saw a flash of a vampire just eating a human alive. Like, yeah, they're fucking out there, and Blade is our only hope.
Yeah, and also too, it's like another way they work into the myth is like Blade. He's not fully a vampire, because like he can go outside during the day and stuff. He's what
Yeah.
they call a day walker. So he has like the strengths of vampires, but none of the weaknesses.
Oh yeah.
So and that's why Deacon Frost wants his blood, because that's what is going to bring the blood god, and that's what's going to like fucking cause the vampire apocalypse, and the vampires are going to take over the world and all that stuff. I like that they use kind of that aspect of the myth to sort of to establish the hero and villain connection. So
Drew, what are your thoughts on like this trope of monster hunters also being like part monster themselves? Like you got Blade, Dante from Devil May Cry, the main character of K-pop Demon Hunters. I think Riri is her name. And just to throw an anime reference there, the main character from Blue Exorcist.
I mean, I think it's kind of cool because it's like I don't think you can have them be like full on the thing they're hunting,
Mm-hmm.
unless they're like hunting somebody specific. But
Yeah.
it seems like Blade is just a full on vampire hunter. It's established that they've been hunting Deacon Frost for a long time. But I'm imagining that there were other vampires that they were hunting besides him, you know. So,
Yeah.
I think it works. I think the whole monster hunter being the part
Oh, yeah.
monster, because I think it could also add some emotional conflicts as well to the story.
Oh yeah.
And I think here it kind of does that too, because like especially with the revelation that Blade's mother is still alive and is in fact a vampire that was turned by Deacon Frost.
Oh.
Remember that aspect at the beginning?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's that scene
coming back.
I thought I kind of liked it. It added some more emotional depth to the story, and it kind of like challenged what Blade has believed his entire life. So
I thought it was interesting, but also kind of very out of left field. But I'll admit it definitely adds some emotional depth.
It,
and it
it
really
definitely it definitely was a bit out of left field, but I don't think it was like completely out of left field.
oh,
So
yeah.
again, they establish that in the beginning of the movie, and I think there's even a part in the scene where Blade rescues Karen at the hospital from the vampires. As there's a shot where as he's looking down at her, it flashes back briefly to his mother, and he
Hmm.
sees his mother in her. So I think there's these little hints that are kind of scattered throughout the movie in that way to keep Blade's mother in the back of the viewer's minds. That way, she does come back at the in the third act. It's like, oh yeah, she is still alive. She is a vampire. I thought it was done well. I don't think it was like completely out of a field, but I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
But
I guess that makes sense. And like you said, the demon hunter also being part demon themselves kind of adds like an interesting emotional conflict with them and whether or not they really believe humans are worth saving, even if
Mhm.
they humans will see them as outcasts. And I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, because like when you think about it, Blade himself is still an outcast from humans. Like he's not fully human. He's not fully vampire. He's kind of something else entirely, as he says. So it's like he himself is an outcast from human society.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say about Blade. Will this get into the comic books? I'm not entirely sure. I still need to read the John Constantine comics, but maybe Constantine will be for another day. Um, but yeah, I thought Blade was super cool. It was a nice little watch, and that's all I gotta say. It's a neat movie, Drew.
Yeah, pretty much the same what you said. I thought it was a fun movie. I'll be honest, I didn't like it as much as I thought I would going into it, but I still liked it. Um, I think I will say for criticisms, I think the pacing is a bit off sometimes, and some of the action scenes that happen like in the middle of the movie aren't as good as the action
Oh
sequences
yeah,
at the beginning and the at the end. But
yeah.
I think that's more because the action sequences at the beginning and at the end are so good, you
Mm.
know. But I think
Oh,
there
I
is,
agree.
yeah,
Like the
yeah.
beginning and ending scenes are like nail perfect. They're just great. But the middle segment could have used some work.
Yeah, I think the movie drags a little bit at times, but it's not.
Oh yeah,
That's kind of nitpicking on my part.
I agree 100%. But
But
I
yeah, Blade is
guess
a great movie. Blade is a great movie. You
yeah.
should all go check it out. I'm assuming that you've all seen it by now, 'cause,
Yeah, this
man, we
also marks
spoiled the
our.
fuck out of this movie.
I'm sorry, what?
We spoiled the fuck out of this movie.
Boy.
We do every movie
Um,
we talk about on the podcast.
yeah, spoiler alert when you watch our podcast. Um, I will say it. This is technically our first comic book movie we ever covered on the channel, like dedicate an entire episode.
Yeah, because I did an individual review of The Crow. That's a comic book
Yeah, and
movie, but
I
I don't think
promised
we
my
ever.
brother we would watch The Crow together. So when that day
Uh,
comes, we will watch The Crow.
Yeah,
We will
but
talk
yeah,
about The Crow.
I think this is our first comic book movie. This is not our first vampire movie, but it is our first comic book movie.
What
So,
was our first vampire movie?
Sinners.
Oh, Derp. I guess my brain's being sucked more than my blood. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for enjoying this episode of the Movie Morris podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel for more movie madness. Also, follow the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, and Amazon Music. iTunes, Apple Music.
we're not on iTunes. It's just Apple Music.
Shit, yeah, it used to be called iTunes back in the day. I am fucking old.
No,
Anyways,
iTunes still exists. Yes,
yeah.
it still exists as iTunes. Apple Music is something slightly different. That's a subscription service. But specifically, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Oh,
Amazon Music / Audible, and iHeartRadio. Just
yeah.
to slightly correct you there.
Thank you, thank you. I've been very off today, man. I've been very off, but
That's all right.
yeah. So yeah, viewers, like, comment, subscribe, and follow the socials, and we'll see you all in the next episode. And remember, never ever ice skate uphill.